All right, let's talk about the Enneagram, but we're going to look at it in a completely new way. Forget about a set of rigid labels for a second. Instead, what if we saw it as a river, a dynamic, flowing map of your deepest motivations?
You know that feeling, right? You take a personality test, you get your result, and suddenly you feel like you've been put in a box. Like you've just been handed this label that's supposed to explain everything about you. Well, if you've ever felt that way, you're not alone. And that's exactly the idea we're going to challenge today.
So, on the one hand, you have the old way of thinking about this stuff. It's all about static labels. You're a type, you're in a box, a category, it's fixed. But what if we just shifted the language? What if we swapped out those words? Instead of a fixed type, we talk about a dynamic motivation. Instead of a box, we imagine a river. And instead of a category, we think about a direction of your inner energy. See how that changes things? This quote really gets to the heart of it all. Not classification, but flow. Not fixed, but dynamic. The whole point was never to pigeonhole people. It's about trying to understand the invisible forces that are constantly moving us, shaping our desires and our fears. It's about the flow. Okay, so if it's all about flow, what exactly is flowing? Well, to get at that, we need this big idea, this new metaphor. If your inner world is a river, something has to be creating the current, right? And the answer in this framework lies in a concept called chi. So, what is chi? You can think of it as the fundamental life force. It's the raw energy that drives, well, everything, especially our emotions and our motivations. It's this ancient idea of the universe's first push, like a prime mover. But, it's not so different from some modern ideas like energy fields or the basic vibrations that make up reality. And here's how it all fits together. Imagine your inner world is that river. The emotions you feel day to day, those are just the waves on the surface. Sometimes choppy, sometimes calm. A little deeper down, you've got your motivation. That's the current, pulling you in a certain direction. But the water itself, the very substance that makes up the whole river, that's chi. And to really understand yourself, you have to understand the water, not just the waves. Now, this river of chi doesn't just flow all over the place randomly. Nope. It follows a hidden map, a structure. Just like a real river is guided by the shape of its riverbed. And here's the cool part. The Enneagram symbol, that's the map of the riverbed. So let's look at the structure of this riverbed. First, we have the number 3. This point is a foundational pillar. It represents our fundamental drive for action, that energy of doing, of achieving, of really making your mark on the world. Next up, the number 6. This pillar represents something totally different. Our deep need for security. This is the energy that makes us seek out trust, look for support, and create stability in our lives. And finally, we have the number 9. This is the third pillar, and it's all about being. It's that fundamental search for inner peace, for harmony, for just a grounded sense of existence. So you take these 3 points, 3, 6, and 9, and they form this incredibly stable triangle right in the middle of the symbol. These are the pillars: action, security, and being. This is the solid, unchanging riverbed that directs the flow of everything else in our psyche. Okay, but what about the other shape, the jagged one, the hexagon? Now this is where it gets really wild. It's not some random mystical drawing. It's actually based on a simple mathematical pattern. If you take the number 1 and divide it by 7, you get this endless, repeating decimal, 0.142857, and on forever. That sequence? It describes a natural, predictable cycle of energy flow found in nature. And that very sequence, 142857, maps perfectly onto the points of the hexagon. It shows how our inner energy naturally shifts. The desire for order at point 1 can flow into deep emotion at point 4. That emotion can then flow outward into giving at point 2. From there, it might shift to a need for power at point 8, which can cause a retreat into detachment at point 5. And from that quiet space, it can burst out into exploration at 7, before finally circling back to a need for order at 1. It's a beautiful map of our psychological ebb and flow. Okay, so we've got the riverbed, the stable triangle, and the natural cycle of flow, the hexagon. So what does this mean for the 9 types? Well, it means they're not really types at all. They're 9 different streams, 9 different directions that our river of chi can flow. Let's make this real with an example. The flow associated with type 1 is described as chi descends into order. Think of it as the river of dams. So instead of just calling someone a perfectionist, Imagine their inner current is naturally motivated to bring structure to chaos. They're trying to build dams to create stability and order in the world. It's an action, not a label. And now for a total contrast, look at type 7. Their flow is described as ki disperses to explore, or the river of exploration. Their energy is like a river that naturally wants to branch out into a delta, to spread out in every direction, motivated to seek new possibilities and experience everything. It's not about being flaky, it's about being expansive. This table really pulls it all together. You can see how each number corresponds to a verb, a direction of chi. 1 descends for order. 4 moves inward for authenticity. 8 expands for power. 9 merges for harmony. Every single type is just a different direction of flow, driven by a core motivation. This completely reframes everything from what you are to how your energy moves through the world. So what's the point of all this? Why does it matter if it's a box or a river? Well, the big takeaway here is all about how you navigate your own life. Because here's the thing, you are not just a passive passenger. You don't have to just be swept away by the current of your personality, feeling like you have no choice in how you react or what motivates you.
And that leads to this beautiful final thought. May you no longer be a traveler swept away, but become the true ferryman of your own heart river. By understanding the map of the riverbed and knowing the currents, you get to have a say. You can pick up a paddle. You can learn to navigate. You can become the ferryman of your own inner world.
Which really just leaves us with one final question to think about. If your inner world is this dynamic, flowing river with its own currents and depths, where is your river flowing right now?